Hey, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mike Mad Dog, Mike Natty, thanks for tuning in today. Thank you for welcoming us into your home or wherever you are. Appreciate being here. And I want to say thank you to everyone who came to see Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We went both opening night and closing night. Sold out crowds the last night, and I believe the night before it was too. But just, it's great to support local high school theater. And I want to mention that Angels of Bataan is coming up at Eastmont High School, directed by Matthew Pippin. I had two ladies who were in that show on last week, but that's coming up. But these high school kids, they work really hard, they do a great job, and I'm very encouraging you to support them. Not only that, but pay attention to all the local live theater that's going on. You've got a great community here for this type of stuff. So, okay, all right, but I have got a really cool guest today. I've been looking forward to this one for quite some time. This is going to be a good show. So, hey, Street Talk and Other Stuff, you stick around. We will be right back. So.
There's no place like home. Because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories. And we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier. Total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air. When you've been in business for 40 years, it's because you understand change and you put members first, always. Now Works is announcing a change in their membership model. Up to 6 people on one membership that you can mix and match. The more people, the bigger the discounts. Introducing the Works shared membership model. One membership, friends and family and flexibility. Works, the cleanest, friendliest, most helpful gyms you and your friends will ever join. Enjoy a simpler time and place where the holidays bring family and friends closer together. Chelan Cellars and Sorrento's Restaurante on the shores of Lake Chelan. Join us this holiday season.
You're invited to experience small-town holidays in iconic Lake Chelan. From local shopping to Santa parades, a getaway visit to Lake Chelan is a great way to make this holiday season special. Learn more at smalltownholidays.com.
My name's Nick Dirk, and I've been a cinematographer-photographer for over 10 years. I got my start at the Wenatchee Valley Technical Skills Center. Without the Tech Center, I wouldn't have got my first job in media production 3 months after I graduated high school.
My name is Charlie Voris, and I own Vortex Productions. My work has taken me on exciting adventures all around the world, and I got my start at Wenatchee Valley Tech.
Hey, my name is Oli Mingo, and I'm the Executive Director at Heirloom Creatives in Wenatchee. I am so thankful for Wenatchee Valley Tech to be able to have my dream career.
Okay, we're back, Street Talk and Other Stuff, and I am very proud and just enthusiastic to introduce to you Ms. Nancy Niles. Nancy is the managing editor of the Wenatchee World, and not only the Wenatchee World is our news organization, but also the World Organization. This is WIC Incorporated. You're gonna have to help me here.
Well, technically, it's Washington Media.
Okay.
And that organization is owned by WIC.
Okay, so actually, they have actually even purchased NCWLIFE.
Yes.
So you're not really my boss, but
No.
you probably have some influence. You could probably go
I
back.
definitely have influence.
You could probably go back to whoever is my boss and say that Magnani. But thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having
it.
me.
All right, so tell us about yourself. Who is Nancy Niles?
Oh boy.
Who are you?
So I am a mom.
Okay, cool.
To
best thing to be.
Yeah, it is the best thing. He's almost turning 30.
Okay.
recently. He's about to celebrate his 2nd anniversary, and he and his wife are expecting their first child.
Oh, is this your first grandchild?
This is going to be my first grand.
Your life is going to change.
Yes.
And it's all good. It's all good.
It's so excited. This is the best thing for our family. Yeah. We moved here February of last year.
Okay.
For me to take the position at the Wenatchee World.
Okay, all right.
And so my whole family decided to move with me.
Oh, cool.
My husband, the love of my life, he is a truck driver.
Okay.
And so, he moved out with me, my husband, and my son, daughter-in-law, and my father. They all moved out with me.
Good. Now, where did you move from?
Florida, Daytona Beach, Florida.
Ooh, just about as far away as you could be from, up here in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah,
so.
it was, it's kind of an interesting story how that happened. But yeah, so Florida is very hot and humid.
Yes, and a lot of bugs.
And there's bugs and everything, basically everything's trying to kill you. Everything in the water, everything in the air.
I got a sister-in-law who lives there.
Yeah.
And every time a hurricane's coming, she takes a trip elsewhere.
Yes, yes. And so we, when the opportunity came to move out of the area, I was specifically interested in Washington because it was about as far away from Florida as you can get.
Yeah. So how are you liking it here? Not just, how do you like Wenatchee? I mean, because I'm a transplant to Wenatchee too. And I love it. I moved out from New Jersey in 1973, and I'm a Wenatchee boy. So
I'm from Maryland, just outside Baltimore.
All right.
And I've lived, I lived in Texas for 5 years, and I've been all over, but I do love Wenatchee. It's the weather, except for like July and August, it gets really, really hot.
Well, that doesn't bother me. It's what's coming that bothers me. Okay.
I love snow.
Okay.
I love snow. I love it. I love it. To me, going out in the morning and cleaning my car off is fun. I'm excited about it.
You probably like pineapple on pizza too.
No.
Oh, thank God.
No.
All right, good. Okay, all right.
Yeah, no pineapple on pizza, but I do love snow. I mean, I may outgrow that, but for the time being, it's been a long time since I've lived somewhere that snowed. So
well,
it's fun.
You're gonna get it. You're gonna get your fill of it. So cool. All right. So, journalism. That's your field. Tell us about getting into that. What inspired you to do so? And how that's progressed.
So,
I mean, you didn't just wake up one morning and become the managing editor of the paper. I mean, tell us about that evolution.
So that took 20 years.
Really? Okay.
I did not go to journalism school.
Okay.
I went to college, and then I had my son, and so I never quite really found my niche, but I worked I did advertising writing for a real estate company, and one day the ad rep for the local newspaper told me that my writing was so good that I should be a writer.
Oh, okay.
My husband, after he got transferred to Texas, I was continuing to work remotely.
True.
But one day, I found taped to my mirror a want ad from the local newspaper, from the Marshall News Messenger. Wanted a part-time sports writer.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
And who taped that there? Your hubby?
My husband.
Oh, well. Hubby looking out for you, right?
Yes. Well, I don't know if he just wanted me to get another job or not.
He probably said, "You're not making enough money."
Yeah. So yeah, he wanted me to keep him in the lifestyle to which he would like to be accustomed. And so I applied for it and I got the job, even with no experience. But I'm just a sports nut,
really?
And so I know the terminology and I can write.
Yeah.
And so I did that for a few years and eventually moved into the position of sports editor.
Oh, all right. Okay. And how big was this paper?
So it was a daily, 7 days a week.
All right.
So it was a mid-sized daily. And I moved into the position of sports editor, and then I moved to wherever the next step was.
Sure.
Whatever the next. I was there for 4 years. I was in Maine for 2 years, which is the last time I saw snow.
Okay.
Then I moved back to Florida.
Okay.
to help take care of my parents and grandmother, and went to work for the Daytona Beach News Journal, where I eventually learned digital editing.
Okay, now were you, Daytona's big on motor vehicle racing. Were you?
Absolutely,
you
yes.
Were up?
Oh,
okay, right,
the most fun I ever had was covering the Daytona 500.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so, and the media center is actually in the infield, so, so you can come out and walk behind all the pit, that's, so yes, a lot of fun, and then, excuse me, I was eventually taught to be a digital editor.
Okay.
And that's where you learn all the things about how to make stories look good online, how to make them appealing, how to make people want to click on them.
Okay.
Then Gannett and the company that owns the Daytona Beach News Journal, which was Gatehouse, they merged to become the largest newspaper company in the United States.
Okay. All right.
At that time, I was hired on to Gannett to do the digital editing for 22 Florida newspapers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
you were a busy woman.
I was a busy boy. Well, I was part of a team, but yes, I was a very busy woman. That was when COVID hit, and so I worked from home for 3 years, working on optimizing the work of reporters throughout Florida and Georgia, actually. And then the team was dissolved.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so it was USA Today. It was their Florida network, and they dissolved the team across the country. It wasn't just my team. It was every team across the country. It was dissolved, and this was about a week before my son got married.
Okay.
And
I got laid off a week before Christmas once.
Yes, it was in December. It was actually in December of 22. My son got married on December 14th. I decided I was going to take the holidays off and just stay home, figure out what I'm going to do next.
Sure.
Then on January 1st, my husband's company went out of business.
Oh, man.
Just like flat out of business. So now my husband and I were unemployed. My son's now married. And we looked at each other and said, if we're ever going to make a big move, this is it. This is the universe telling us. This is the universe telling us that we are not tied here anymore.
Big time, big time.
And so within days in January, after putting my resume up on LinkedIn, I was contacted about the position here.
Okay, all right. Well, that's kind of how I got here too. I mean, it was a Sunday. I'd broken up with my girlfriend and she was not having me back. I lost my job. I was doing terrible in school, and my brother, who lived out here, called me up and said, I think you should move to Wenatchee. So 3 days later, I was on a plane. All right, so you got the job of being
the managing editor
of the Wenatchee World. Now, how are you finding the World overall? The paper. Okay.
So when I came, the paper was very print focused. It was very focused. It was a 4-day-a-week newspaper, and it was very focused on whatever gets written that day is what goes in the newspaper. There was very little strategy going on. So my first point of business, I guess, was to start working a strategy or developing a strategy for making sure that the reporters were thinking digitally. Okay. Because the majority of our traffic is online.
Okay, all right. So when you're going to have to explain a little more what you mean by thinking digitally.
Okay.
I remember you're talking to a guy
So digital first is a kind of a buzzword that goes around media companies. We're a digital first newspaper, we're a digital first media company, but when they say that, what they mean is they're writing for the digital platform. Okay. They are writing so that it goes to a website and social media probably a day, maybe 2 days before it ever sees the light of print.
Okay, all right. Okay.
So we are less reactive to print deadlines and more proactive to getting things up on the website and getting them out on social media and newsletter.
Okay. So, but the setup of moving into what was there and working with the people who are there, how has that been for you? Has it been?
Oh, God, I have the best team.
Really? Okay.
Oh, it's a young team.
Yeah.
editors, most of the veteran editors who worked there right before I arrived had retired.
Okay.
And so
you didn't have to move any on.
No. But what was left behind was a team of young, very eager, and very digitally literate reporters.
Okay,
People
so they were
who
what you
used
wanted.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So, I mean, I didn't have to teach some, 70-year-old man how to use Facebook.
I'm 71, by the way. And I know how to use... I should not know how to use Facebook.
Somebody take his Facebook away.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
They were very eager to learn.
Yeah.
They were eager to learn from someone who had a digital background, someone who had done a lot of social media strategy.
So this was a good marriage, okay?
was.
Okay, good. So, okay. But you are enjoying it, obviously.
Yes, very much.
Okay, what else about Wenatchee do you like besides having a, fulfilling work role?
So when I found out that I was moving to Washington, I knew my 4x2 pickup truck was not going to be an ideal, and I was coming here in February over the mountains and through the woods. So I traded it in. I traded in my GMC Sierra on a brand new Ford Bronco Gen 6.
Oh, you're fitting right in, girl. Oh, you're a homie now.
I mean, it was, I was like, there was never, ever an excuse to make that kind of a purchase.
Yeah.
And so when I had one, I seized it, and I have been an off-roading princess since then.
Cool.
I just love getting up into the hills.
Yeah.
I love driving, anywhere where the pavement ends. That's where I am.
All right, good. Okay, well, look, we're going to take a break. But hey, Street Talk and other stuff. We're talking with Nancy Niles. She's the managing editor of the Wenatchee World. And we're going to come back, talk more with her about the future of journalism, the future of the world itself, and just stick around. We will be right back. So.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCWLIFE. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
Hey there, folks. Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to experience Blueberry Hills. Of course, the food is fabulous, like our cheese blintz, our famous French dip, our legendary Eggs Benedict, and unforgettable burgers. But we're more than just great food. People come from all over the world to experience what's been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
So what am I looking at here?
That is what great power looks like.
Tell me more.
It's called hydropower. Hydropower uses water and gravity to generate electricity. Since the fuel for hydropower is water, it has zero emissions and it's renewable. It also works when it's not sunny or windy. And it's the cheapest power we can make.
So it's clean, renewable, reliable, and affordable? And hydropower is all four?
Only hydropower is all four. And you can learn more about it at the Chelan PUD Discovery Center at Rocky Reach Dam.
A small town holiday wouldn't be complete without a visit to an original American hardware store in downtown Chelan. Kelly's Ace Hardware has been serving the greater Chelan area for nearly 100 years. Let them take you back to a time where personal service and quality products went hand in hand.
You're invited to experience small town holidays in iconic Lake Chelan. From local shopping to Santa parades, a getaway visit to Lake Chelan is a great way to make this holiday season special. Learn more at smalltownholidays.com.
Okay, we're back again talking with Nancy Niles. She's the managing editor of the Wenatchee World. Been here since February, liking it.
February of last year.
February last year.
So it's been almost 2 years.
Oh, okay. Okay, my mistake. Thank you for correcting me.
That's what I do.
Okay, that's all right. The future of journalism. I mean, it has changed tremendously in the last decade or so, maybe 2 decades.
Yeah.
What's happening with it? Where are we going? You know, I know that there's a lot of online stuff. You talked about that, but
so It's tricky right now.
Yeah.
Because the revenue stream is not where it used to be.
Right.
It used to be very simple. People bought a newspaper. Lots of people bought a newspaper, and that money paid the people who create, the news. Then, now it's digital. For a while, newspapers tried to do, hey, buy a subscription, you get the news online for free. And then there were no paywalls. And people got very, very accustomed to getting their news for free. And this belief, this really a misbelief that if it's on the internet, it should be free.
Right.
And it was an experiment because news medias had not quite figured out how to monetize the news online yet.
Right. Okay.
Companies were slow to advertise online. They couldn't understand who was looking at it. It was a challenge. It went on a little too long, so that now we are trying to monetize our website through subscriptions, and people feel like we're robbing them.
Right. Okay.
But news has never been free. Even Ben Franklin charged for his newspapers. So it's just a matter of striking the balance between how much we ask people to invest in their local journalism, the accountability that we hold to local government and our schools and things like that, versus how much the community is willing to bear in advertising expenses. It's a constantly changing, very fluid situation, and our job is to strike the best balance we can.
Sure. Do you think it's ever going to solidify? Do you think it's ever going to get to a point where it's not as fluid as you're describing? Because it's been in this fluid state for quite some time now.
I don't see it happening. I don't see it, because every generation consumes news in a different way.
Right.
So we have, like for instance, Facebook used to be the place for kids. Now it's the place for grandparents.
Right.
So.
I was just talking to a 71-year-old man here, So okay. All right.
I'm going to be a grandparent soon. So it's So the next generation, they're all on Instagram, and the generation after that, I think we're calling them, like Gen X. They're on TikTok. I don't even know what the alpha generation's on.
Yeah. Okay.
So they are consuming their news in completely different ways.
Okay.
Parents and people who check their work email and things like that, they're still using our website. They're getting our newsletters.
Okay.
They're getting they're catching things on Facebook. And then we have to maintain our Instagram for the younger generation, so we can let them know, hey, guess what? You don't think about us, but we are reporting on things that matter to you.
Yeah. Okay.
Entertainment, what's going on Friday night, those kinds of things.
Yeah, and about people getting news differently. I mean, somebody was, again, taking issue with my Facebook post, and she came back with, what podcast are you listening to?
Exactly.
I said, I don't listen to podcasts. I read books, and I don't listen to podcasts.
Right.
I mean, occasionally my wife and I will listen, and we haven't done this for years, so listen to This American Life, That's while we're driving somewhere, but no, I mean, it's different. I'm a reader, always have been, and I don't retain as much as understand it as I should.
Right.
But I do read, and I don't listen to podcasts.
Do you read the physical newspaper, or do you read it online?
No, I read the physical. Right. I will occasionally go online to check something if the paper wasn't delivered to my house on time. Well, I know that's not your responsibility, okay? Maybe it is. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, I will look online, but very rarely. I mean, that's not how I get my information. I look at I read the paper.
So the newspaper itself, you might be interested to know, there is a finite amount of space in the physical newspaper. There's more news online than there is in that newspaper.
Okay, all right.
There are things that go on our website that never go in the newspaper.
Okay, well,
There's just no room.
I should check it out more often then.
Yeah.
I just remember the days, there was a guy named Jeanette Morantos who was a reporter I respected, working back in my cop days, and she once said to me, well, again, the paper was larger. She said one of the struggles was filling that amount of space.
Right.
All the time. But that must have changed too. So.
To a certain degree, we do try to maintain a mix of locally reported news and then news that comes from what you call a wire service, which lets people know the big things happening in Olympia, the big things happening in the country.
Right, nationwide.
Right, exactly. So. And I mean, there are people who wish that our newspaper was cover to cover nothing but local stories.
Right, right.
And then there's other people who go, how come I can't get the Seahawks score? Yeah. So we have to maintain a balance. And it's never going to make everybody happy, but we do the very best we can. But there are things that we report on every day, and because we have a newspaper now just on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, there are times we're reporting on things that are no longer even relevant by the time our next newspaper comes out. Those stories never go in print. They stay online and they never leave. So those are important stories. Those are, hey, there's a huge crash and Highway 28 is closed in both directions. Right. Well, that doesn't, unless...
If that happens on Sunday,
right? By Tuesday,
there's no sense in putting it in Tuesday's paper.
So what happens is the paper on Tuesday now is reporting, oh well, there was a fatality, and you know this is sort of what happened, but that doesn't tell you why you got stuck in traffic. So so it's important that people get their news from a mix of places. But as each generation determines how they're going to interact with the news, we have to maintain that flexibility to meet people where they are.
Okay. So what do you want to see? You know, do you have other vision for where the paper, the Wenatchee World, is going to go over the next few years? You know?
I think we have to continue to focus on the things that we know people are willing to invest in. Okay, and the things that people are willing to invest on is not really the crashes and the fires and things like that. And we know because they tell us. They tell us we're not going to buy a subscription to the newspaper for something. We can Google your headline and get it from NCWLIFE for free. What we have to focus on is the deeper story. We have to focus on crime trends. We have to focus on accountability. What's happening to your tax money? Where is it going? What is it being used for? Is it being used appropriately? We have to focus on the stories that actually impact the daily life. And they're ultimately going to impact your wallet. They're ultimately going to impact your standard of living, such that determines your house value. We have to write the stories that really matter.
And you have to be flexible with following what the needs of your readers want as opposed to what you and your staff think we want, right?
And we actually, we survey our readers. And you know, we have a survey that we got not too long ago that told us that our readers are extremely interested in business news. They love stories of new businesses, new restaurants, who closed, who opened. And so we expanded our business section to an entire fourth Saturday section.
All right. And how about, you've got an interest in sports. Do you feel that you're doing, I mean, how are people responding to the amount of sports coverage that you're showing? I know my wife gets mad because she can't see the box scores on the baseball team. My wife is a doggone Mariners freak. I love her.
I would love to have a traditional sports section, but being 3 days a week, it's tough. Because people want to know those scores like the minute the game is over. So we count on our reporters and our freelance reporters to get those things up on social media, and we have a ticker at the top of our website. But you know, it's the stories of the athletes. It's the stories of triumph and victory and overcoming adversity. It's what these kids are going through in their lives in order to become and excel. So those are the stories we're focused on.
Okay, well look, we are talking with Nancy Niles. Nancy is the managing editor of the Wenatchee World. Going through a lot of changes in journalism nowadays. It sounds to me like we have a person who is on top of these challenges, who has been welcome into our community, and you feel very comfortable here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're comfortable having you. And I know it's a challenge, okay? And I certainly say God bless you in doing your best and getting the most out of this paper that you can. But Nancy,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
thank you very much. Thanks for coming on. Thanks
you.
for the work that you do. And hey, Street Talk and other stuff. Thanks for tuning in today. I appreciate it. Next week, Henry Heddick, who is directing All Is Calm, which is coming up for Music Theater Wenatchee. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.